and she would take us along, or take me along with her, and have us translate some of the words. So I remember being really young and having to learn all of these medical terms that I didn't even know what they meant. Hi, my name is Sammy Ponce Hernandez. I'm 21 years old. My mom's side of the family is from Guatemala, and my dad's side of the family is from Honduras. But I was born and raised here in Grand Island, Nebraska. I have 4 siblings, 3 half-sisters, 1 brother. I chose to come to CCC because for my first degree, it just made the most sense. And for my current degree, I stayed here at CCC just because it is more affordable. I am currently studying to do an academic transfer degree and transfer to UNK for my bachelor's in biology, and I am hoping to specialize in wildlife biology so I can work on a conservation during research. I had a biology teacher in Hastings, and he really made me fall in love with biology. He's a really cool guy, and he made all the stuff that we did in there really entertaining. I didn't have the best childhood. My dad was very mentally, verbally, and physically abusive with us, and my mom was a victim of it all. And I do remember at a young age my mom always having us, especially me, go translate for her since she grew up or she only knew Spanish at the time. It was great. I do remember a particular event where my mom had to have hand surgery, and she would take us along, or take me along with her, and have us translate some of the words. So I remember being really young and having to learn all of these medical terms that I didn't even know what they meant. I wasn't really taught much about race. It was kind of just something that on a day-to-day basis I learned. I remember some of the people I grew up around my block would have some negative things to say about our race. And with gender, I wasn't ever taught in the traditional sense anything, but I can recall that my dad used to tell me whenever he would be doing like a construction or automotive job that it was a man's job and I should be inside with my mom. And then for sexuality, they are really conservative people, so I wasn't ever taught anything about it. And I remember when I was in middle school and I started questioning my own sexuality, it was kind of a nerve-wracking thing because I didn't know how my parents were going to react, and I barely myself understood what any of it was. So when I finally identified as bisexual, it was very nerve-wracking. It also didn't help that I ended up getting accidentally outed to my family. But with that, it was just one of those things where they heard about it once and then they brushed it off and we never talked about it again. I feel like my race has worked against me before, especially in like elementary school. With my first language being Spanish, I do remember having to get pulled out of like history and science classes to go to the Spanish classes so that they could teach English. I also remember them pulling me out in like the first grade to go through the alphabet because I didn't even know the English one. So I always felt like that was a problem just because up until I got to middle school, I didn't know that history or science was even a subject in school. There was just a lot of things I missed, and it kind of felt, I felt really secluded from the rest of the class since they all had those couple hours to get to know each other, and I would always be stuck every year with the same kids because we were always just the Hispanic kids in the class. Diversity, equity, and inclusion are important just because it's nice for everybody, regardless of race, religion, sexuality, gender, to be able to feel included in places like school and stuff, just because it's never fun to feel like an outcast in a place that you're either required to go or you really want to be. If I could thank anybody for teaching me about my culture, I think it would just be the community surrounding me, from my mom and dad teaching me the different types of music that they listen to, and then to them teaching me the different type of dances that they did, to the different kinds of food that they ate. It was just all around me. Plus my grandma teaching me about her religion and my mom about hers. It was just a mixture of everything. I don't think there's actually just one word I can use to describe myself. If I'm at work, I'd probably say that they would call me reliable, because anything they ask me to get done, I'll get done in a timely manner. But if I'm at home with my family or friends, they will probably say I'm more opinionated, just because I'm not afraid to say what I'm thinking. But if I'm at school in one of my classes, they would probably say I'm a lot more quiet or reserved, just because of the fact that I don't really talk to many people, keep to myself. I feel like it would just be nice to promote more of the diversity events, being able to get the word out there so that students can actually hear about it. It'd also be nice to be able to see more people of color in offices, just because I know that, especially on like Hastings campus, you walk into an office and the majority of the people that you see in there are white, which kind of feels not as welcoming as to when you can see someone who kind of looks like you. It would be nice that when they promote events, it wasn't just a poster stuck on a bulletin board. It would be actual people walking around the halls being like, hey, there's events going on, you guys all join it, just so that the word can get out there better. It would also be nice that when we do events, like I remember the Black Lives Matter event, it was just a paper with people's story. It would be nice that there was actual people there who could tell their story, because it just makes more of that connection with everyone. I think this beauty diversity event is a good start in promoting diversity here at CCC. It's nice that we're doing it here on the Grand Island campus, but I remember talking to one of the members of the Hastings campus at one of the events I participated in, and even they were like, we want this type of things just everywhere, just so that we can get more people of color to feel more included in all of the events that we do here at CCC.